Greetings, my name is Alex007. I'm working for Virtus.pro organization as a Russian StarCraft 2 caster. That's why my English is not so perfect. But anyway, today I want to tell you about one of the new maps for World Championship Series 2014 Season 2. This map's name is Overgrowth, and this is not just the new map for the pro gamers, no. This is not just the new map for the World Championship Series, no. This is also one of the new maps for our next ladder season. That's why we will play on this map, and I think that this is quite important to know as much as we can about this map, so I will try to tell you something interesting. As you can see, this map is for the two players. One is situated on the top right, another one on the bottom left, and the way you're spreading the bases here really looks like overgrowing. You're going to the second base, to the third one, to the fourth one, which may be situated on the gold minerals, and all these bases are together. So yeah, I think that Overgrowth is kind of a right name for this map, and we will definitely see how players will overgrow here. Let's talk a bit about the rush distance on the Overgrowth, because this is quite an important thing for the map for two players. You can see how you're moving from the bottom left to the top right. You're passing both Zelnaga towers in the center of the map, but you can also mention that pass from the top right to the bottom left is quite different, and your, for example, scouting walkers can miss each other if they are, for example, moving out at the same time. Exactly rush distance is 50 seconds. This is also StarCraft 2 game time, not the real 50 seconds. And this is quite a large rush distance as for the maps for two players. For example, 50 seconds is rush distance for horizontal respawns on Frost. So this is quite a large rush distance, I should say. And on Yeonsu it's, if I remember well, 10 seconds less. So this is really good, and this map is not as aggressive as you may think taking a first look into it. This is how the map looks like in Battle.net. Nothing really special, just Overgrowth Ladder Edition version 1.0 made by Blizzard, category Melee. Everything seems pretty standard, and even though we are still in the first season of WCS, in the first season of Ladder, you can play this map by yourself, versus your friends, or versus artificial intelligence, or just by yourself, I don't care. You can do it, you can find it in Battle.net, but better let's take a deeper look into this map. Let's start from the main base, which seems not quite large, I would say. I would even say this is one of the smallest main bases here. Oh, there's also quite a standard ramp, followed by natural expansion and pretty wide chalk here. It is quite hard to wall it off, but we will talk about it later. You can also see two different roads to the middle of the map, and one of them is defended by destructible rocks, but of course they could be easily broken. Both of these roads are not covered by two force fields, which is quite important. You can also see the third expansion to the left of the natural one, and quite a wide plateau here. And generally, this map seems to be really open, really wide, really good for Zergs, but again, we will talk about it later, about Zergs playing on Overgrowth. Right now, let's also mention that there is a gold base situated right here, to the bottom from the third one, and another expansion to the bottom from the main base. There is also one of the bases situated on the top left of this map, and maybe you will also build your base there. There's a separate way to the Zelnaga towers from that base on the top left, and you can see the first Zelnaga tower and the second one. They both are situated in the center of this map. There are many different trees, bushes, and everything seems pretty green, cute. Map makers are awesome here, and you can also see that Xelnaga towers are situated not far from each other, so they are covering pretty wide territory here, and it's quite important to control them both, because you will see literally all the center of the map. This is another main and natural expansion, which are of course the same as the top ones, and let's move further here. And by moving further, I mean following this SCV and following the standard scouting way here on the Overgrowth. And what are we seeing right now? We can see that our SCV was spotted from the Xelnaga tower, which is situated to the right, and the same actually is with the second Xelnaga tower, which is situated to the left. That means that standard scouting way is spotted from both the Xelnaga towers on this map, which is quite an important note you should definitely take into consideration. But listen, I will tell you something really interesting right now. Actually, you can cheat the guys on Xelnaga towers a bit, and you can sneak right here on the dark side, moving near the mineral patches and geysers, and this way you won't be spotted by the guys on Xelnaga towers. You will move up, you will move to the third base and then to the natural base of your opponent, and actually of course the same way exists on the right side of the map, so this is quite an important thing you can use to hide some proxy buildings, not to show your scouting walkers and so on and so forth. I think that this is really important, but right now I will tell you even more important thing about this map. Actually, the location of the mineral patches on this map seems not really standard. I mean that, of course, on every map we have mineral patches which are situated closer to our CC, like the ones you can see on the screen right now, and of course there are also mineral patches which are situated quite far from it, but here on this map the location is not really standard. Speaking about these four mineral patches, they're pretty standard. They are giving you exactly 60 minerals per minute real time, or exactly 45 minerals in game minute. And of course the SCVs are mining quite fast from here, so this is exactly 2 SCVs you need to gather a good amount of resources from these closer mineral patches. But speaking about these ones, they are situated really far from your CC or your Nexus or your hatchery, and they are bringing you a bit less than the furthest mineral patches on other maps. For example, on Frost or on Yansu or any other ladder map, further mineral patches give you exactly 55 minerals per minute in real time, but here you won't get these 55 minerals, you will get something like 50 in real time minute. That means that controlling your SCVs and moving them to closer mineral patches is even more important than on other maps, and you will lose from 10 to, I don't know, like 100 minerals per minute if you're not controlling your walkers properly. So if your level of play allows you to control your SCVs or props or drones properly, just do it and gather more resources than your opponent. And oh my god, what are we seeing right here? I'll tell you what, this is the Photon Rush, which could be executed quite easily on this map. You can see that you need just 2 pylons to make sure that your photon cannon won't be killed by probes or drones or SCVs even, because just 1 probe at a time can do damage to this photon cannon. This spot is pretty sweetie, I would say, and we can be sure that SOS and many other guys will use it. on TV games. But actually this is the only spot which can allow you to make cannons, cause all the other ways behind the mineral line and something like that are just not really useful. They just don't exist at all. So use just this spot to make photon cannons. Let's talk a bit about Protoss walls on this map too. Actually, even though this chalk seems quite wide, this wall is absolutely standard, just 2 pylons, 2 gateways, photon cannon behind, and you have all the things covered, because this is just all you need here. And you can make exactly the same thing near your third base, just 2 pylons, 2 gateways, again photon cannon if you want, and you're pretty much covered here. So Protoss walls on these maps are actually 100% standard, and you don't need to think about it, you just need to execute these walls properly. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Protoss walls here. Absolutely standard walls on the second and third expansions, just one sweetie spot for the Photon Rush. Let's better talk about this thing, about Blink. I know all of you like Blink all-ins in PvT, so let's talk about it right now. Let's think if Blink all-ins are still possible on this map. At first look, well, they are quite possible here, because you can blink from here, you can also blink into the main base from here, yeah, and you can even blink to the main base from here, so 3 different places to blink on the main base. And it seems to be quite dangerous for Terrans, but actually this is not the whole truth, I can tell you. Yeah, you can still blink to the right side of the main, but speaking about this blink, well, there are some problems here. And I will try to explain you what are these problems. So, yeah, one of our stalkers successfully blinked there, everything seems pretty cool, but let's try to shift blink here. And what? This didn't work? I don't know, let's try again, and... what the hell? Why were just 3 stalkers blinking? Okay, let's try again. 1, 2, no, just 1. What the hell? I don't know, guys. I don't know what's going on here, but actually shift blinking is not so cool here, and it seems not working as good as it possibly can. I don't know, maybe my hands are broken, maybe this map is broken, but actually this place seems to be not the best one to blink in. Anyway, there are other places to blink, but you can see that this is just the right side of your main base. These spots are pretty much the same for Reapers in PvT, so actually this map seems to be quite perfectly balanced, I would say, for PvT and TvP, speaking about Blink, Reapers and any other stuff. So let's talk better about Overlords and about Xerx playing this map too. As you can see, this place near the natural expansion of your opponent is actually the perfect place to put your Overlords in, because you're getting no vision from your ground units into this cliff, and that means that your OBs are fully and totally safe from Marines, Stalkers and other stuff. This is the second perfect spot for your Overlords, because you can see the third base from here, you can see the troops moving from the natural expansion to this territory, and you can even see the hit points of this destructible debris. So yeah, this is the second perfect spot, and definitely don't forget to put your Overlords somewhere nearby. Let's move then. In the middle of the map, it seems like this map has so many places to put your Overlords, but actually this is not the truth. This is not the whole truth, I would say. Well, first, don't put your Overlords somewhere near Zelnaga towers, because it's quite obvious that even Marines can kill your OVs here. This is also not the place to put your OV, because you can see that you have vision. You can get the vision just from your ground units without help of any air units. So that means your OVs are not safe at all. Actually, the situation here is pretty much the same. The situation above these trees is also the same, and above these trees too. So all these places with different trees, bushes and grass situated on this map are not suitable at all for putting your overloads. Be careful, just don't do it. Don't do it at all. Put your OVs on two sweet spots we showed you earlier, and you can also put your OV somewhere here, but just in ZVT matchup. I will explain it a bit later, just remember it. In ZVT you can put your OVs there. And let's mark all the places you can put OVs on this map, near the natural, near the third base, on the top right or on the bottom left of the map, but not somewhere in the center. Of course, you can put your OVs somewhere in the air, for example, like on the left or on the right. Of course, it's your choice, but anyway, never put your OVs somewhere in the middle, not near the Zell Nugget towers, not above the trees, not above the bushes. All these places are not allowed to put your overloads. Be careful, man. Be careful, don't lose your overloads. Make the right decisions here on Overgrowth, and make good scouting with the help of well-placed overlords in ZVT and ZVP. Generally speaking, about the spaces behind the main and natural expansions, I'd like to say that there is only one place where your oracles, banshees, overlords and other stuff can hide from marines, but not from the stalkers. It is right here. You can see that marines and widow mines, which have range 5, cannot shoot the Viking, but actually it is quite hard to move your unit somewhere to the bottom left, because minimap messes you up and you just cannot find the place where to click to move your unit there. It's kinda imbalanced, because on the top right it's not a problem at all. You can easily move your units somewhere into the air, and it will be invulnerable from marines, mines and other units with range 5, but not with the range 6. So be careful. You can do it versus Terrans. You can put your oracles, overlords and other stuff versus Terran, versus marines or widow mines, but never versus protoss, because units with 6 range, for example stalkers, will easily find and kill your units there. Be careful. One of the last things worth mentioning here is how to defend your second and third expansions. Of course, it's quite easy for Terrans and Tosses versus Zergs just to build walls and everything seems fine, but speaking about ZVZ, there's one nuance worth mentioning too, because it's pretty hard to wall off this white chalk, and not just because it's white, it's because of creep. You just cannot build the wall here with evolutions, roach warrens, queens, spine crawlers and everything like that, because creep is too slowly moving here. That's why you need to build your wall right here near the hatchery to place your queen, evolution, roach warren, your spine crawler, and make the wall with the hatchery, which will probably help you to defend versus aggressive Zergs. Of course, this is not the most important thing ever, because, you know, Zergs are building and defending expansions even on Daedalus, so this map is of course much easier to use in order to defend expansions in ZVZ, but anyway, keep that in mind. Keep spreads too slowly there, so it will be quite hard to build a proper wall, which will prevent the Zerglings running in and something like that. Let's talk about the third expansion too. When you're going to a third base, you're opening this entrance, you're opening like the second place where a battle can occur, so you should defend actually 2 or even 3 places at once. Of course, it's not so easy, because as I mentioned earlier, these ramps are quite wide. They're not covered with 2 force fields. You should also put 3 force fields properly to cover it right. And of course it's not very easy, so defending your expansions in all the matchups will be quite hard, because aggressive style of play is really good here, considering how wide are these roads, are these ways to the third base and to the second expansion. There's also quite a good way to drop here, because you can fly from here, you can fly to the main, you can also move at this time to the natural, so there are actually 3 cool ways to make damage to your economy in Terran matchups, or maybe even in Protoss or Zerg matchups, I don't know. Drops seems to be pretty strong here, War Prism seems to be pretty strong, Mutas seems to be pretty strong, so this is quite an aggressive map, I would say, and this place between third and second expansion is also quite important, because it's really easy for drops, mutas and stuff like that to maneuver between these 2 bases to make a damage into your economy lines. So be careful while defending your expansions, and maybe you should better choose an aggressive style of play, because the map is really wide. There are many wide areas like here, like there, like in the center of the map, where you can which you can use into your profit. So I think that aggressive style of play is really preferable here, but of course if you'd like to play defensive, if you'd like to play macro, you can actually do it without any problem. Anyway, choose any style of play you want. I hope that this video will help you somehow to choose your strategy properly. If you enjoy it, just subscribe on my Twitter, Alex007 and enjoy next videos from Virtus.pro. Thanks for watching, goodbye.